Hi everyone, welcome to another installment of the dyslexiaconnect.com dyslexia blog. I'm Peter. Thanks for joining us again today. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the question of whether dyslexia is a disability. And this is a very interesting question, also a very controversial one. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about the opinions of different people regarding this, and also my own opinion on whether dyslexia is a disability and whether we should call it that or how exactly we should address it. So, first of all, I think we'll start by talking about why certain people think that dyslexia is a disability. The people who think that dyslexia is a disability and should be called that point to the fact that dyslexia causes impairment in reading and spelling ability, and also sometimes the inability of the dyslexic person to be able to learn to read and spell in the same method that other people do. Now, why is this controversial? This is controversial because certainly there is a stigma attached to the word disability, and so a lot of parents reject this term or this definition because they say, hey, I don't want my kid I don't want people saying my child has a disability. You know, they have dyslexia, they need extra help with reading and spelling, but that's not a disability. I don't want them being labeled as that. Also, they often don't want their children to just simply be put in a regular LD classroom in school, particularly because they may not be getting any special help for their dyslexia in this sense, in this classroom, and they feel that it will not be beneficial to them. So there's a bit of a stigma attached to the word. That's why a lot of people don't want to use the term disability when they're talking about dyslexia. And it's a very charged word, so you can't just completely use it in a neutral sense and not expect people to respond to it. So that's why a lot of people who are opposed to the idea say dyslexia is not a disability, we shouldn't call it that. Parents don't necessarily like to use the term. Also, some experts in dyslexia think that calling dyslexia a disability is a bit misleading, because the truth is dyslexics can learn to read and to spell if they have the right instruction method, which typically involves them receiving dyslexia tutoring from somebody who is trained in the Orton-Gillingham method or one of the other well-known dyslexia tutoring methods. So saying that they have a disability in some sense seems to indicate that they are not going to be able to do something, not going to be able to learn to read decently or to spell decently. And in fact, this is not true. With the proper approach and the proper intervention, dyslexic students can learn to read and can learn to spell. So that's another group of opponents to what they think is wrong in calling dyslexia a disability in that sense. They think it's inaccurate. And also, parents also sometimes dislike the use of the word disability because they feel that disability means that student is not going to be able to succeed. So if they're labeled as having a dyslexia disability, they think that may affect the opinion of the student of themselves, their self-esteem, and make them think that they're not able to succeed in life and not able to achieve what they want to in life. And in fact, this is completely false. There are all kinds of successful dyslexics in the world in a variety of fields. In fact, almost every sort of career field you can imagine, there are dyslexics working in those fields. And I can tell you at dyslexiaconnect.com, we've had some adult students in our online tutoring program that are very successful people, but they still realize at a certain point that they're dyslexic. They just haven't gotten the help that they need for that, and they want to be able to spell and to read more easily and to enjoy those things. So that's why they seek out dyslexia tutoring. So dyslexia is by no means something that is going to limit a child's potential to achieve in life. So this is very, very important to consider. Now, as alternatives, some people that are opposed to labeling dyslexia as a disability want to call it something else. Sometimes they may want to call it a learning challenge, because dyslexics are able to learn and to read and spell. It may just be more challenging and they need a different approach. So I think this is more accurate. Also in recent years, there's been a movement to call dyslexia an advantage in fact, and to say that it's an advantage to students who have it and provides certain abilities, I guess. And I do understand the goal of that camp, I guess, and why they're doing that. And I fully agree that dyslexics should be encouraged in their abilities and should be given the message that they can succeed and they can go very far in life. That's absolutely true. But the question of whether dyslexia is an advantage, I think of an article I read from a mother who was talking about her son, who I think was 9, 10, 11 years old, and the child, he burnt his hand actually on a hot coffee pot because he couldn't read the little sign that said hot in front of it, H-O-T. And she was just saying that, you know, I don't understand people calling this an advantage because it causes so many struggles. It obviously takes special treatment to be able to treat dyslexia and to help dyslexics make progress. So she said, I just don't understand why they would call it that. So I think I definitely agree with encouraging dyslexics and encouraging them in their gifts and talents, because many of them are extremely bright and very talented. But I think when we call it an advantage, sometimes we may lose track of the nature of dyslexia, and also the fact that it does cause a lot of struggles for people, especially before they receive dyslexia tutoring and the type of instruction they need. After that, they start to make progress, things get much better. But before that, it can result in a lot of tears and a lot of difficulties in school and a lot of stress, self-esteem issues, and all kinds of different things. So I think it's important to keep in mind that it is definitely a struggle and something that needs to be treated properly. So I guess of my own opinion, whether we should call dyslexia a disability, I think honestly, how we define dyslexia is not the most important thing. You can call it a disability or a reading challenge or whatever you like. The truly important thing is that we understand dyslexia and also how it needs to be treated. So if we understand the fact that dyslexia is neurological, it's typically passed down genetically in families, and that dyslexics are not able to learn to read and to spell well using the method that a lot of other children learn to read and to spell with. So that's an important thing to understand. They need a special approach. Without that, they're typically going to struggle and have a hard time reading and spelling and face a lot of difficulties in life because of that until they get special help. So that's the most important thing to understand about it, I think. Whether you call dyslexia a disability or not, the important thing is understanding the nature of dyslexia and also understanding that they need a special approach to be able to learn to read well and to spell well. Once you understand that, the way that you define dyslexia is not as important. It's not as important as the actual understanding of the nature of dyslexia. Also, another thing that is very important is to keep in mind that dyslexics absolutely can succeed and can go very, very far in life and can do all kinds of different things. So if you discover that your child has dyslexia, that doesn't mean that they will not be able to succeed in life. There are dyslexics in all areas of life that have succeeded in different fields, different career paths, who have done that even though they are dyslexic. So the important thing is to keep in mind what dyslexia is and how to treat it. And if we have a good sense of that, how we define it isn't as important, in fact. So I hope you've enjoyed today's segment. If you would like to get more information about dyslexia from us, please feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can see more videos on YouTube. You can also visit us at our website, www.dyslexiaconnect.com. We have more information about dyslexia on there, as well as our online dyslexia tutoring program. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. You can do that on YouTube. You can also do that at our website, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have about dyslexia or dyslexia tutoring or anything related to that. So thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you next time.